2 new targets. Why Adeyemi makes sense but Gallagher would be a huge mistake. Welcome to United News, where we separate good targets from bad ones. Hello and welcome to United News, your essential source for making sense of Manchester United's transfer business. Every week brings new names, new links, new rumors about who United might sign. But not all targets are created equal. Some make perfect sense for what the club needs. Others would be expensive mistakes that solve nothing. Our job is to help you understand the difference. We analyze the logic behind potential signings. We explain whether they fit the system. We tell you if they represent good value or desperate panic buying. That is what we do every single day. Thank you for trusting us to guide you through the constant noise of the transfer market. Now we have 2 new names to discuss. Karim Adeyemi from Borussia Dortmund and Conor Gallagher from Atletico Madrid. One of these targets is genuinely exciting. The other is everything wrong with how United have operated in the past. Let us break down both and explain why United should pursue one and avoid the other at all costs. The attack still needs help. Before we get into the specific targets, we need to understand why Manchester United are looking at more attackers. Because did they not just spend over £200 million strengthening that area of the squad? Yes, they did. United brought in Matheus Cunha, Bryan Mbeumo, and Benjamin Sesko over the summer. That is 3 expensive forwards who were supposed to solve United's goal-scoring problems. So why are they already looking for more? The answer is simple. Only one of those 3 signings has consistently delivered. Bryan Mbeumo has been excellent. For league goals, 2 goals in 1 match against Brighton. Pace, power, and clinical finishing. He looks like exactly what United needed. But the other 2. Matheus Cunha has looked bright with the ball at his feet. His technical ability is obvious. He can dribble. He can create. He can beat defenders. But he has only scored 1 goal in all competitions this season. 1 goal. That is nowhere near good enough for a player who costs significant money. Benjamin Sesko has been even more disappointing. 2 goals all season. Looking awkward and uncomfortable in matches. Gary Neville saying the jury is still out on him. And now he has picked up a knee injury that could keep him out for weeks. So United's attacking options are suddenly looking very thin. Mbeumo is the only reliable goalscorer. Cunha is not scoring enough. Sesko is injured and struggling when fit. And Mbeumo himself will be missing for potentially 6 games when he goes to the Africa Cup of Nations. This is why United are looking at more attackers. Not because they want to, but because they have to. Because despite spending all that money in the summer, they still do not have enough quality and depth in attacking positions. Enter Karim Adeyemi from Borussia Dortmund. A 23-year-old German forward with incredible pace and versatility. A player who can play anywhere across the front line. A player whose former coach compared him to Road Runner because of his acceleration. This is the kind of player who could transform United's attack. Who is Karim Adeyemi? Let us start with the target that actually makes sense. Karim Adeyemi from Borussia Dortmund. For fans who do not watch the Bundesliga regularly, here is what you need to know about him. Adeyemi is 23 years old. That is a perfect age for an attacker. Old enough to have experience. Young enough to have his best years ahead of him. If United signed him, they could get 7 or 8 years of peak performance. He joined Dortmund from RB Salzburg in 2022. Dortmund saw enough in him to pay good money to bring him to Germany. And while his time there has had ups and downs, he has shown the quality that made them want him in the first place. This season, Adeyemi has been directly involved in 6 goals in 14 appearances. That is not spectacular, but it is decent production for a player who has not always been a regular starter. And remember, he is playing for a Dortmund team that has been inconsistent and going through some difficulties. But statistics do not tell the full story with Adeyemi. What makes him special is his pace. Absolutely blistering speed. His former Dortmund coach Edin Terzic compared him to Road Runner, the cartoon character who is impossibly fast. That tells you everything about Adeyemi's main weapon. In modern football, pace is one of the most valuable attributes an attacker can have. Defenders hate playing against fast forwards. It forces them to drop deeper. creates space for teammates. It allows you to get in behind defensive lines and create chances. Adeyemi has this in abundance. He is also versatile. He can play as a winger on either side. He can play as a striker. He can play as a second striker behind a main center forward. This flexibility is incredibly valuable for squad building. Instead of signing specialists who can only play one position, you get a player who can fill multiple roles. Adeyemi is German and plays for the German national team. He has experience in the Champions League. He has played in big matches. He knows what it takes to compete at the highest level. This is not some unknown prospect taking a gamble. This is a proven talent who could make an immediate impact. The bonus is that United already have a connection that could help with this transfer. Jorge Mendes, one of the most powerful agents in football, represents Adeyemi. Mendes also represents Leny Yoro, who United signed from Lille in 2024. United have a good relationship with Mendes. He helped facilitate the Euro deal. He could do the same with Adeyemi. According to reports, there has already been an exchange between Manchester United and Mendes about Adeyemi. This is not just speculation. There are actual conversations happening. This is a genuine target that United are seriously considering. Why Adeyemi would be perfect for United? So why would Karim Adeyemi be such a good signing for Manchester United? Let us break down all the reasons this makes perfect sense. First, the pace. United have lacked genuine speed in attack for years. They have technical players. They have creative players. But explosive pace that scares defenders? Not enough of it. Adeyemi would give United a weapon they currently do not have. Defenders would have to completely change how they set up against United because of the threat he poses in behind. Second, the versatility. With Mbeumo potentially missing 6 games for AFCON and Sesko injured, United need players who can cover multiple positions. Adeyemi can play anywhere across the front three. This flexibility would be incredibly valuable for Ruben Amorim when managing his squad through the busy winter period. Third, the age profile. At 23, Adeyemi fits perfectly with United's strategy of building a young squad that can compete for years. He would be part of the core group along with players like Mainoo, Ahmad, and Garnacho who grow together and develop into champions. Fourth, the style fits Amorim's system. Amorim wants his team to be quick in transition. He wants to hit teams on the counterattack. He wants pace and directness. Adeyemi embodies all of these qualities. He would be perfect for how Amorim wants United to play. Fifth, the Jorge Mendes connection. Having an established relationship with the player's agent makes transfers much easier. Mendes knows United. United know Mendes. They have worked together successfully before. This could be a smooth negotiation rather than a complicated saga. Sixth, there might be an opportunity here. Adeyemi's relationship with current Dortmund boss Niko Kovac has reportedly come under some scrutiny. There is tension. Things are not perfect. When a player is not completely happy at his current club, that creates an opening for other teams to make a move. Seventh, the contract situation favors United. Adeyemi's deal expires in summer 2027. That is still 2.5 years away, so Dortmund are not desperate to sell. But it is close enough that they might consider offers rather than risk him running down his contract further. And Adeyemi reportedly wants a release clause in any new deal, which Dortmund are reluctant to give. This impasse could work in United's favor. Eighth, the reported asking price of around €80 million with a release clause is not unreasonable for a 23-year-old German international with his pace and potential. Yes, it is a lot of money. But in the modern market, for a player who could be a starter for the next 7 or 8 years, that is actually decent value. When you add all of this up, Adeyemi looks like an excellent target. Not a panic buy, not a desperate short-term fix, but a smart, strategic signing that addresses a clear need while also building for the future. This is exactly the kind of transfer United should be making. The Dortmund situation creates an opportunity. One of the most interesting aspects of the Adeyemi situation is what is happening at Borussia Dortmund right now, because it creates a genuine opportunity for United to make a move. Dortmund are struggling, not catastrophically, but they are not where they want to be. The team is inconsistent. Results have been mixed. And there are reportedly tensions between manager Niko Kovac and some players, including Adeyemi. When players are not completely happy at their clubs, when they are not playing as much as they want, when they have disagreements with their manager, that is when opportunities arise for other teams. United should be smart enough to recognize this and act on it. The contract situation adds another layer. Adeyemi wants a release clause in his new deal. This is becoming more common with top players. They want security but also want an escape route if things do not work out or if a bigger club comes calling. Dortmund do not want to include a release clause because it reduces their control over the situation. This standoff means negotiations for a new contract have stalled. And when contract talks stall, players start thinking about their futures. They start listening to offers from other clubs. They start imagining what it might be like to play somewhere else. This is the perfect time for United to make their interest known. If United can convince Adeyemi that Old Trafford is the right next step, that he would be a key player in an exciting project under Amorim, that he could compete for major trophies while playing in one of the best leagues in the world, they might be able to secure his signature. Dortmund would obviously prefer to keep him. But if the relationship with Kovac is strained, if contract talks are going nowhere, if Adeyemi himself indicates he wants to leave, Dortmund might decide it is better to cash in now rather than risk losing him for less later. This is how smart clubs operate. They identify situations where players might be available. They monitor relationships between players and managers. They recognize when contract disputes create opportunities. And then they act decisively to take advantage. Manchester United should absolutely be pursuing Karim Adeyemi. This is a realistic target who would significantly improve the squad. This is the kind of signing that could transform United's attack. This is smart business. Now let us talk about Conor Gallagher. After discussing why Adeyemi makes sense, we need to talk about the other target mentioned in reports. Conor Gallagher from Atletico Madrid. And unfortunately, everything about this potential signing is wrong. Gallagher is 25 years old. He joined Atletico Madrid from Chelsea over the summer. He was supposed to be an important player for Diego Simeone. But things have not worked out. He has been limited to just 2 starts in La Liga. He is frustrated. He is not playing. And now reports suggest he is open to joining Manchester United. Transfer expert Graham Bailey has spoken about Gallagher's situation. He says Gallagher has become increasingly frustrated at Atletico. He is settled in Madrid but firmly believes he could and should be in contention for England. That is not going to happen without playing. Bailey continues. Gallagher is aware of the interest and I am told that United is an appealing option to him. United are aware that other clubs are showing interest and they will have a decision to make in the coming weeks ahead of the January window. So Gallagher wants to leave Atletico. He would be open to joining United on loan until the end of the season. United are looking for midfield reinforcements. This should be a match made in heaven, right? Wrong. This would be a terrible signing. An absolute disaster. And here is why. Why Gallagher would be a disaster. Let us count the ways that signing Conor Gallagher would be a massive mistake for Manchester United. First, this directly contradicts what Ruben Amorim said about transfers. Amorim was clear. He does not want short-term signings at United. He wants players who can be part of the long-term project. A 6-month loan until the end of the season is the definition of a short-term signing. This is exactly what Amorim said he does not want. So right from the start, signing Gallagher would undermine the manager's stated philosophy. It would show that when things get difficult, United panic and abandon their principles. This is terrible squad management. Second, Gallagher is not even that good. Let us be honest here. He is a decent midfielder who works hard. But is he special? Does he have qualities that United desperately need? Not really. He is energetic and athletic, but so are other midfielders United could sign. He is not particularly creative. He is not a great passer. He does not score many goals. He is just okay. If you are going to bring in a midfielder on loan, surely you want someone who is genuinely excellent. Someone who will clearly improve the team. Someone whose quality justifies disrupting your squad planning. Gallagher does not meet this threshold. Third, signing Gallagher would destroy Kobbie Mainoo's development. Manu is a talented young midfielder who needs game time to develop. He is reportedly already concerned about his playing time at United. Now imagine United bring in Gallagher on loan. Suddenly Manu has even more competition, even fewer opportunities to play, even more reason to think about leaving. Is sacrificing Manu's development worth it for 6 months of Conor Gallagher? Absolutely not. Manu has far more potential. He is younger. He came through United's academy. He should be the priority, not some panic loan signing who will be gone in 6 months. Fourth, this does not solve United's long-term problem. Bailey himself points this out. United have become overly reliant on an aging Casemiro. They need a long-term successor. Bringing in Gallagher for 6 months does nothing to address this. It is a short-term patch on a long-term problem. And short-term patches never work. They just delay the inevitable. Fifth, Gallagher has just failed at Atletico Madrid. He moved there with big expectations. He was supposed to be an important player, but he could not establish himself. He could not win a place in Simeone's team. Why would United want a player who has just failed at his current club? What confidence should they have that he would succeed at United? Sixth, this is classic desperate United behavior. A midfielder is struggling at another club. He might be available. United need midfielders, so they jump at the chance without thinking it through properly. This is exactly how United have operated for years, and it is exactly what they need to stop doing. Seventh, there are better options available. If United want a midfielder in January, they should be looking at players like Alex Scott from Bournemouth or Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace. Young players with potential who could be long-term solutions. Not short-term loans of players who could not make it at their current clubs. Eighth, this would send a terrible message to United's other targets. If you are a young midfielder considering United, what do you think when you see them signing Gallagher on loan? You think they are desperate. You think they have no clear plan. You think they are still making panic decisions. This undermines confidence in the club's direction. Every single aspect of the Gallagher situation screams mistake. From contradicting Amorim's stated principles to sacrificing Manu's development to being a short-term fix that solves nothing. United should not go anywhere near this deal. What Amorim actually wants. Let us remind ourselves what Ruben Amorim said about January transfers, because it is important to remember his words when evaluating potential signings. Amorim said he does not want players for the short term. He wants players who Manchester United believe could be an option for the long term. They do not want to add a player just in terms of numbers. If someone joins in January, it will be a player who United can trust for the present but also for the future. These are clear, specific statements. This is not vague manager speak that can be interpreted multiple ways. Amorim is telling everyone exactly what his approach is. Only sign players who fit the long-term vision. No short-term fixes. No panic buys just to have more bodies. By these standards, Gallagher Adeyemi fits perfectly. He is 23 years old. He has years ahead of him. He would be a long-term solution to United's need for pace and attacking quality. This is exactly what Amorim described. Conor Gallagher on a 6-month loan? That is the complete opposite of what Amorim wants. It is a short-term fix. It adds a player just for numbers. It does not address the long-term need. Contradicts everything Amorim said. So if United sign Gallagher, they are either lying to their manager or ignoring what he told them. Either way, it creates a problem. It damages trust. It suggests that despite all the talk about having a plan and doing things properly, United are still just winging it. Amorim deserves to have his wishes respected. He is the manager. He has a vision for how he wants to build the squad. If he says no short-term signings, then do not make short-term signings. If you cannot trust your manager enough to follow his stated principles, why did you hire him in the first place? The right way to build a squad. The contrast between these two potential signings perfectly illustrates the difference between smart squad building and desperate squad building. Smart squad building means identifying long-term needs, finding players who address those needs, players who are the right age, players who fit the system, players who have potential to develop further, and then signing those players even if they cost significant money. Gallagher Adeyemi represents smart squad building. United need pace and goals. Adeyemi provides both. He is young. He fits the system. He has room to grow. Yes, he will be expensive. But he is worth it because he solves a real problem for years to come. Desperate squad building means panicking when things do not go perfectly. Looking for quick fixes. Signing players on loan because they might help for a few months. Making decisions based on availability rather than suitability. Ignoring the long-term consequences because you are focused on short-term problems. Gallagher represents desperate squad building. He is available because he failed at Atletico. He would only come on loan for 6 months. He does not really solve anything long-term. But United are considering it because they are worried about midfield depth. This is panic, not planning. The difference matters. Clubs that consistently make smart decisions build sustainable success. Clubs that constantly make desperate decisions stay in mediocrity. Manchester United have been in mediocrity for over a decade now. They need to stop making desperate decisions and start making smart ones. This means saying yes to Adeyemi, a proper investment in a quality young player who makes the team better for years, and saying no to Gallagher, a panic loan that contradicts the manager's principles and solves nothing. If United can make the right choice here, it would show they are learning. It would show they are evolving. It would show they are finally becoming a properly run club. If they make the wrong choice, it would show nothing has really changed despite all the talk about new structures and better planning. What United fans should demand. Manchester United supporters have every right to demand better from their club. They have watched years of poor decisions, years of expensive mistakes, years of watching other clubs operate more intelligently while United stumble from one problem to another. So when these two potential signings are on the table, fans should make their voices heard. They should demand that United sign Adeyemi, a young, fast, versatile attacker who addresses a clear need. They should demand that United avoid Gallagher, a short-term loan that contradicts the manager's principles and offers no real solution. This is not about being negative or critical for the sake of it. This is about holding the club accountable. This is about insisting that United make smart decisions that build for the future rather than desperate decisions that paper over cracks. Fans have power. When enough supporters speak up, when they make it clear what they expect, clubs listen. Not always, but often enough to matter. So if you are a United fan reading this, make your opinion known. Social media, fan forums, supporter groups. Let the club know that short-term thinking is not acceptable anymore. Demand Adeyemi. Reject Gallagher. Demand long-term planning. Reject panic buying. Demand decisions that align with the manager's stated philosophy. Reject decisions that contradict what you have been told the plan is. This is how you help your club become better. Not by blindly supporting every decision, but by holding the club accountable and demanding standards. That is what real fans do. Final thoughts, 2 targets, 1 choice. Manchester United have 2 potential targets on the table. Gallagher Adeyemi from Borussia Dortmund. Gallagher from Atletico Madrid. One is exactly what United need. The other is exactly what United should avoid. Adeyemi is young, fast, versatile, and available from a club where tensions exist. He fits Amorim's system perfectly. He addresses the lack of pace in attack. He would be a long-term solution. Yes, he would be expensive, but he would be worth it. This is smart business. This is the kind of signing United should be making. Gallagher is a short-term loan of a player who has just failed at his current club. He contradicts Amorim's stated principles about not wanting short-term signings. He would damage Kobbie Mainoo's development. He does not solve the long-term midfield problem. This is desperate business. This is the kind of signing United need to avoid. The choice should be obvious. Sign Adeyemi. Avoid Gallagher. Build for the future rather than panicking about the present. Trust the manager's vision rather than undermining it with contradictory decisions. If United make the right choice, it shows progress. If they make the wrong choice, it shows they have learned nothing from years of mistakes. It really is that simple. Thank you for demanding excellence with us. Thank you for reading this detailed analysis at United News. where we help you understand not just who United might sign, but whether they should sign them. Gallagher Adeyemi and Conor Gallagher represent two completely different approaches to squad building. One is smart. One is desperate. United need to choose wisely. This is what we do every single day. We break down potential signings. We explain whether they make sense. We hold the club accountable for their decisions. We demand better when better is possible. That is our commitment to you. Stay with us as both of these situations develop in the coming weeks and months. We will track Adeyemi's performances at Dortmund. We will monitor whether United's interest in Gallagher is genuine or just speculation. We will tell you what is really happening rather than just repeating every rumor. Transfer windows are full of noise. Our job is to help you separate the signal from that noise, to identify the smart signings from the desperate ones, to give you the analysis that helps you understand what your club should be doing. Until next time, keep demanding smart decisions from Manchester United, keep holding the club accountable for their choices, and remember that at United News, we always tell you which potential signings make sense and which ones should be avoided at all costs. Glory, glory, Man United. And please sign Adeyemi and avoid Gallagher. One is the future, the other is the past.